Okay, so this is the first part of a video showing you how to create a tessellation using some very basic steps with the GSP. And then from there, we're going to transfer it to the PDF on the Illustrator so that we can laser cut it and turn it into a puzzle. So first step is, if you haven't already created a tool for making a square, you need to do that, and the directions will be given to you. So let's assume you already have your square. I've got mine right here, my square, and you start with a square. Okay, get off that tool. Now with your square, what you want to do is you want to create a shape on one side of your square and then translate it to the other side of your square. So we're going to use our segment tool. Okay. And we're going to just make some sort of a pattern over here. You can do whatever you'd like, just some sort of a pattern, and you can experiment with it, see what you want to do, and it'll all become clear at the end. All right, so I made some zigzaggedy pattern like that. I want that whole shape to translate to the right side of the square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go upper part of the square, a vertex to the right. I'm going to mark that as a vector, okay, and then I'm going to select everything that I just drew. Okay, I don't need that, but it's okay. And I'm going to transform it, translate. So it'll move everything over to the right. And it took this segment with it. I don't need that piece with it, but that's okay. We can get rid of him right there. Okay, so it moved everything over to the right. Now, if I don't like what I see, anything you move on the left side will affect the one on the right side. So you can play with it and get your shape to exactly what you want. See if it's something interesting. You're going to try to make a puzzle piece, basically. So you play around with it, you get it to be what you think you want. All right, now we're going to hide that segment because we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to go Display, hide the segment. And the same thing on the right side. I'm going to select the segment, Display, hide the segment. Okay, hide my segment, didn't hide it. Hide the segment. There we go. All right, now I'm going to do the same operation on the top part. So again, with your segment tool, we're going to make some sort of zigzaggedy pattern, and I'm going to keep it pretty simple because remember, if you're translating it down, I can't make too much zigzag or it's going to overlap with this one. So what I might want to do is just go maybe in the middle, something like this, that. Let's just keep it really simple. Okay, and I'm going to mark my vector. Now remember, your square went from this upper left corner to that corner. So that's my vector. I'm going to select, transform, mark vector. Select that piece that I just created. Okay, it might be easier just to select it piece by piece. That's okay. And then transform it by translating it and hit translate. And it moved it down. And again, you've got the square segment, so we'll select the square segment. Now remember, I didn't do anything with this piece right here on the left, so what I might want to do before I hide my square segment is make a segment between those two. And I'm going to make a segment between these two because there was nothing there. And again, on the bottom, I'm going to make a segment between those two, and I'm going to make a segment between those two. And the reason I did that is because now when I select the square segment and hide it, it will not take those pieces with it. So down here I can select that and hide it, and it'll keep just the piece I want. Oh dear, why didn't that stay? Well, let's redo that one. We'll give that one a segment there. Okay, so now I have a pretty interesting shape that if I want to see if it's going to work, I can select all of it. I'm going to construct the interior of it. Let's see if it'll get away with selecting that and constructing the interior. Nope, have to do it the old-fashioned way. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all the points around. So you just go one by one in order. Just pick a place to start and select all the points around the perimeter of whatever your shape is. Oh, now that one doesn't have one, so I need to give it a point. Okay, so all the way around, that one too is going to need a point. Okay, it needs to know where the boundaries are for your shape. And if you didn't select a point before you translated it, it won't take that point to the other side. So to be safe, you might want to select the points to take them to the other side. So I've selected all my points in order. I'm going to go to Construct, Polygon Interior, and there's my polygon. Okay, now I'm going to move this over here a little bit, and I'm going to show you what you can do with it. So let me select it, and let me copy it, okay, and let me paste one over here. Okay, so now I have two of them. Well, let's make the second one a different color. So I'll select it, and I'll display color, and I'll make that one yellow. Okay, now what's interesting is if you've done this correctly, they should fit together perfectly. Okay, so if I made another one, made a copy, it should fit right in there as well. That's what a tessellation does. And if you've done it absolutely perfectly, it means if I select them all and I copy it, I should be able to figure out a way to paste these all together down below. See how I did that? So that is now a tessellation. It's tessellating the plane. Now when you do them all in different colors, you can see it a little better because it actually makes the patterns pop a little bit. And you can do that. Change the colors. And my picture isn't that interesting, so it's not going to do much. And what the artist did, what Escher would do, is he'd try to look at the shape that he created and see if there was something there that he could turn it into. I'm not sure what the shape looks like to me. I don't know, a bunny or a dog with wings. Kind of looks like a dog with wings. And then what he would do is he would draw pictures in here to make it look like a bunch of dogs with wings. And that's what you're doing, is you're creating a tessellation using a square, doing something on the left, translating it to the right, and trying to cover the whole screen. So let me undo back to the original one that I had. So I just did Command Z all the way back to my original one. Okay, so here's your guide. This is what you have. So we don't need the interior anymore. So let's get rid of the color. Okay, so we don't want any color. Okay, should be able to get rid of the color. Let's hide the color. Okay, we just want it to be white inside. Okay, so there it is. So there's the color. Now, what I do want is I want to be able to take this so that I can cut it on the laser cutter. So what you're going to need to do is take the shape, and you're going to have to take it into Illustrator. So the way to do that first is to select all the points, and I believe if you go here and go up to display, it won't hide the points. So it'll label the points, that puts names on it. You don't want to do that, and you don't want to hide objects because that just hides the whole thing. So it almost, I know it's hard, but you have to go around and select all those points and just hide them. Okay, so we'll go around the perimeter again, and we'll make sure that we get them all in order, one by one. Okay. Hopefully your designs will look more interesting than mine. Mine doesn't look that fascinating, but you're going to play with it and get something to work. And don't try to create something, just come up with a weird design and see if you can see anything in the design. So then we're going to hide the points. Okay, so after you've selected them, then you're going to hide the points. Okay, so there it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole thing. Okay, select the whole thing. I'm going to go up and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to open up Illustrator. So there's Illustrator. And we need to make sure that we get a big enough template so that it can go on there. So we're going to go File, New. Let's call this Square Tessellation, Square Tile. It's probably easier to say. 8.5 by 11 is fine. Make sure you're in inches. Okay, and say OK. And let's paste it in there. Okay, so there's what it looks like. Now, what you have to do to make sure that this is going to be a cut on the laser cutter properly is you have to zoom in on it and make sure that all these little connecting points are indeed connected. Okay, you got to look in on them, zoom in really closely and see, and they look like they're pretty good, very connected points. So we'll Command -sign, get you back to normal size. And so I'm going to select everything again just to make sure. I'm going to make sure my path is all one pathway. So I'm going to go to Object, Path, Join. So everything's joined. We're in good shape. We're going to go up to the stroke. Okay, if you can see the stroke. I don't know if you can see the stroke. Where's the stroke? Right here. So the first one, after you've selected everything, the first one should be a slash, okay, that red slash. The second one should be black, okay, so there's black. And so that'll change this to a black. And then the stroke right here, you go in there and you put 0.0001. And what that'll do when you hit enter is it basically makes your design almost disappear. Okay, let's see if it made it work. Yeah, it looks like 0. So it basically looks like your design is gone. And now it's ready to be imported to the laser cutter. So what you're going to do is you're going to save this as a PDF. So you go to File, Save As, and we're going to say Square Tile. Don't touch anything except Format. Okay, PDF. Hit Save. Okay, just hit Save again, and it's going to put it on your desktop. So then what you're going to want to do is make sure that it goes in the bit.ly folder. So you've got to go to your search engine and you're going to type bit.ly/make. Okay, there it is, bit.ly/make. Hit enter, and this will pop up a questionnaire that you have to fill out so that you can submit something. So what's your name and your last name? And the purpose of this is a class project. And the date for pickup, why don't you just put, you can put March, and I believe, let's put the 22nd, because I'm not sure when we're going to be cutting, but that's the last day possible. Request type, we're laser cutting next. And then you're going to go to the material, which is going to be the thinnest of the wood. So we want the thin plywood, so 1/4 inch plywood. Job type, this is a vector cut. Color preference, there is no color in the wood, it's just natural. Add file. So now you click on add file, it will go to this menu and you go select file from your device. And remember, I selected it, it went to my desktop. Sometimes it goes to your download, sometimes to document, but there's mine. So I select square tile, open, and then I upload it. And so now it's going to go in there and it will show up in the makerspace when you hit submit. Boom. So now my tile is in there, and what will happen is Mr. Screntney or myself will laser cut a few of yours. So it might be that we can cut 6 of your tiles to give you the actual tessellation so you can see how they fit together. And we might have to shrink it down to a size so it can fit. But that's what you're doing. That's how you make the first one. And I'll show you in the second video how to do the one on a triangle. Okay?